The wedding is weeks away, the honeymoon is booked, and everyone's celebrating, but I'm quietly panicking because I don't think we're ready, and I don't know how to say it to my fiancé without breaking everything. When my fiancé and I first started dating, we both agreed that we weren't interested in something casual. It was the kind of conversation that most people our age, just finishing high school, didn't really think about seriously. But for us, it was important. I've always believed that if you're going to spend that much time with someone, sharing experiences, dreams, and parts of yourself, you should be doing it with the intention of building something lasting. Otherwise, what's the point? You could just be close friends without the confusion and heartache that often comes with dating. We were both seniors in high school when we had that talk. Looking back now, it feels surreal how certain we were at that age, how confident we felt in mapping out a future that hadn't even started yet. But somehow, our convictions aligned. She told me, gently but clearly, that her faith was central to her life. She was a lifelong member of her church, one that I hadn't been a part of, and she had always envisioned marrying someone who shared those same beliefs. I didn't shy away from that. I told her honestly that I wouldn't convert for her, but that I was open to learning and giving it a real, honest effort. I didn't make that promise lightly. And, to her credit, she never pushed. She respected my position and trusted me to explore things on my own. So I started attending church with her. I took lessons with the missionaries. At first, it was all so unfamiliar, but gradually, I started to see why it meant so much to her. And not just because she loved it, but because I began to feel something too. After a few months of searching, asking hard questions, and quietly reflecting, I found myself believing. Not in a blind or rushed way, but in a way that felt real to me. That moment, when I joined her church, was a turning point in our relationship. It felt like a door had opened for both of us, one that we'd been standing in front of for months, hoping it would swing wide. We were on the same page spiritually now, and that gave us a deeper kind of confidence in what we were building together. We could picture a future more clearly. We talked about it often, sketching out the kind of life we wanted, marriage, family, and a shared faith to guide us. But like most journeys, mine wasn't without its curves and stumbles. About a year after I joined her church, I began to encounter parts of its history and doctrine that hadn't been emphasized or even mentioned when I was first learning. I dove into books, podcasts, online forums. At first, it was just curiosity, but soon, it became something heavier. I started wrestling with difficult questions, with inconsistencies, with things that challenged what I had come to believe. And at the same time, I was changing in other ways too, developing new views on the world, becoming more politically aware, more reflective about the way I wanted to live my life. It was a confusing period. Not because I stopped believing entirely, but because everything I thought was settled suddenly felt like it had been thrown into the air. I didn't know where it would land, or if it would. But through all of that, she remained by my side. She knew I was questioning things, and I know it was hard for her. Her faith is still a cornerstone of who she is. But she never made me feel small or lost or wrong for wrestling with it. That's part of what made me certain I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her. So in April, after months of talking about it, dreaming about it, trying to imagine it, I asked her to marry me. It wasn't some elaborate proposal with photographers hiding in bushes or a flash mob in the park. It was simple, honest, and heartfelt, just like us. She said yes with tears in her eyes and the biggest smile I'd ever seen on her face. I felt something shift in that moment, like we had stepped into a new chapter, not just as two people in love, but as partners ready to build a life. When I proposed to my fiancé a few months ago, I thought we'd reached a milestone that meant we were building a life together, really together. But since then, it started to feel like the engagement was the end of us and the beginning of something very different. Right after I proposed, she moved back into her parents' house to focus on planning the wedding, and I stayed behind in our college town to continue building my business. We talked it through and agreed it was only temporary. But what I didn't expect was how lonely it would feel, how one-sided things would start to become. I drive down to see her at least once a week, sometimes more. I make the effort. I miss her. I try to plan little dates, even just simple things like a dinner out or a walk around the lake we used to go to. Every time, I'm told the same thing. We can't. We have too much to plan. And it's not said in a cruel way. It's practical, even logical. But I started to feel like I was less of a partner and more of a task on a checklist. Wedding planning has swallowed our relationship whole. I feel like I'm engaged to a planner, not a person. What makes it worse is that the wedding we're planning doesn't even feel like the wedding we agreed to. From the very beginning, I asked for a small ceremony, just immediate family and a few close friends. She agreed. We both said we didn't want to spend a fortune or get lost in a sea of people we barely knew. So I sat down and made my list. 20 relatives, 3 close friends. That's it. Clean, simple, intimate. Then I saw the list her and her mom were working on. Not only was every single extended family member invited, but so were dozens of people from her church, many of whom I don't even know. The guest list ballooned to over 150 people. When I brought it up, I was told this is just how her family does things. That it wouldn't feel right without everyone. I didn't want to argue, so I let it go. But truthfully, it stung. It felt like my side of the aisle shrank while hers kept growing, and I started to wonder where I actually fit in all of this. Then came the family reunion. Her side of the family holds one every year, lots of people, lots of tents, lots of rules. This year, since we're engaged, they allowed me to share a tent with her. That felt like progress, until I saw the actual setup. Her mom had arranged the sleeping arrangements. I was given a twin air mattress shoved into the corner of the tent, while she and her sister shared a queen mattress. That first night, she complained about how much her sister moves in her sleep, and how she wasn't getting any rest. I saw the opportunity, and gently suggested that maybe I could switch places with her sister. "You're my fiancé," I said. "We're both adults. We should be able to sleep in the same bed, right?" Apparently not. The entire tent, and I mean her sister, her mom, her dad, immediately jumped in. "You're not married yet. It's inappropriate. You need to respect the family rules." It didn't matter that we were engaged. It didn't matter that we were months away from being husband and wife. To them, that line hadn't been crossed yet, and I needed to honor it. I backed off. I didn't want to cause a scene. But the next night, it all happened again. She couldn't sleep, her sister kept tossing and turning, and the same discussion came up. Everyone started brainstorming which sibling could share a bed with her without keeping her awake, like she was some fragile puzzle piece they couldn't figure out where to place. Once again, I offered. I wasn't trying to be pushy or start anything. I just wanted to sleep next to my fiancé, the woman I'm supposed to be building a life with. Again, I was told no, and this time with more edge. "You really need to stop pushing this." It wasn't even about the bed anymore. It was about the fact that I didn't feel like an equal in this relationship, or in this family. I'm marrying her, not them, but somehow their word carries more weight than mine. Their preferences dictate everything, from the wedding size to the sleeping arrangements. And I keep finding myself biting my tongue just to keep the peace. Over the last few months, I've been going through a bit of a mental shift, call it growing pains, call it an awakening, I'm not really sure. I've started reading more, thinking more critically, and just paying closer attention to how people move through the world, especially people my age. I've become really fascinated with how our brains develop in our early 20s, how we start to question things we never thought to before. And I've been questioning a lot. It started small. I get into these long conversations with my best friend about life, society, marriage, big stuff. One of the debates that really stuck with me was about whether a legal marriage was even necessary if you're committed. A few years ago, I was firmly on the side of, yes, of course you have to get legally married. Otherwise, what's the point? But lately, I've been wondering why I feel the need to involve the government in what is supposed to be one of the most intimate and personal parts of my life. Why do I need a signed document from the state to legitimize a bond between two people? I brought this up to my fiancé, thinking it would spark an interesting conversation. But instead, it triggered an argument. She took it as me questioning our relationship, or at least the seriousness of our wedding. That wasn't my intention at all. I just wanted to share where my head's been at, to explore these thoughts out loud with the person I'm about to marry. But lately, any time I try to express a new perspective or a change in worldview, it turns into a fight. Meanwhile, I'm working 50+ hours a week trying to get my business off the ground, something I thought we were both excited about. I thought it was a shared dream, building a life together, creating something stable, sustainable. But right now, she's in another city, an hour away, living at her parents' house and completely immersed in planning this wedding. I'm juggling everything on my end, bills, clients, deadlines, while she's in a whirlwind of dress fittings, centerpieces, and family drama. And the wedding itself? I feel like it's no longer ours. It's hers. Or maybe her family's. From the start, I only asked for 3 things. I wanted the venue to be in the mountains because that's always felt like home to me. I wanted the reception to feel like a party, a real celebration, not a stiff formal event. And I wanted to try the food ahead of time, just so I knew I'd enjoy it. That was it. I wasn't asking for fireworks or a grand entrance or any of the Pinterest-worthy stuff. Just a few simple things to make it feel like we were both represented. So when I got a casual text from her one day saying, "My grandma from Texas is handling the food. She already bought everything," it hit me like a brick. No tasting. No input. Just done. I sat there staring at my phone, thinking, did anyone even remember I asked for that? I wasn't trying to be picky or controlling. I just wanted to feel like I had a voice in the biggest day of my life. A wedding that's supposed to be about both of us has started to feel like something I'm just a guest at. It's like I proposed, and then everything else, every decision, every detail got handed over to someone else. I feel like I'm fading out of my own story. Don't get me wrong. She's not doing it out of malice. I know she cares. I know she's stressed. But it's been hard not to feel like I'm just in the way now. My needs, my ideas, my energy, they feel irrelevant. And at the same time, I'm becoming a version of myself I don't recognize, resentful, withdrawn, unsure of whether I'm still on the same page with the person I asked to marry me. Over the last few months, it's just been more and more moments like that, the decisions I didn't get a say in, the tension when I try to share a new perspective, the sense that we're going through the motions of a life-changing commitment without ever really sitting down and asking ourselves if we're ready. And in all of this, I haven't even had the chance to celebrate the fact that I'm engaged to the woman I love. There was no moment to breathe, to enjoy, to feel proud of this step. It was straight into wedding planning, straight into expectation, straight into roles we're supposed to play. Now, with the wedding less than a month away, I feel like I'm being pushed forward by a momentum that isn't even mine. I feel like I'm in someone else's timeline. Like everyone around us decided what this relationship should look like, and we're just filling in the parts. And the truth is, I don't think we're ready. Not yet. Not because I don't love her, I do. But because I think we skipped a few critical steps. Steps like growing together as adults, building deeper communication, truly understanding how we each see the world now, not when we first met as high school seniors.
So much has changed.
I've changed, and I know she has too. We were just kids when we started this. And now I'm starting to see how easy it is to confuse love with obligation or compatibility with familiarity. I've been lying awake at night wondering, is it fair to go through with a wedding when I feel this uncertain? Wouldn't it be more responsible, more loving, even to say, hey, I think we need more time to grow and build something stronger? But then I spiral into the how. How do I do that? How do I tell her I want to postpone the wedding without breaking her heart, or destroying everything her family has spent months planning and paying for? They've already put down deposits. Family members have booked flights, hotels. There's a honeymoon scheduled. Venues, dresses, caterers. All of it locked in. How do I sit across from her and say, I think we need to hit pause, and not come off like I'm backing out completely? What do I say to her parents, who've poured time and money and love into this? They believe in us. They believe in this wedding. Will they see this as betrayal? Will she? But here's the hardest part. I don't know if this is right. I just know that going through with the wedding when I feel like this doesn't feel right either. I've been asking myself, is it better to risk disappointing everyone now or risk entering a marriage that might be built on shaky ground? I don't want to start our life together with resentment or doubt. I want to feel sure. I want to walk down that aisle with complete peace in my heart, not questions. So here I am, sitting with all of these fears and no roadmap. All I know is I need to start the conversation.